there's a screen in there, filter. You see how dirty that is? Hello and welcome back to the Fix-It Shed. This week we're picking up where we left off with the Jonsered 520 SP, and this week I got the carburetor kit in the mail, so let's check it out, see what's inside. So I've matched up the old and the new parts. And then there's also some little parts in here, filters, screens I should say, and the needle. This oval wire mesh screen got flattened in shipping, so I'm trying to reform it a little bit. Apparently I missed taking that out. This is another small circular wire mesh screen, and it's held in by a metal retaining ring. I just used the screwdriver to pop the retaining ring out and then pop out the screen. Then put the new one in place. Okay, so that screen's replaced. Alright, let's pop the needle out. I'm just using a small flat screwdriver to pry the pin out of the clip. Trying to do it carefully so that the spring doesn't go shooting across the room. Alright, so got the needle, the seat, and this lever. The pin comes out. Gotta put the new one on, which goes this way. And there's the new needle. Okay. Put the spring. Get the new spring in there. Okay, that's back together. So this spring needs to hook onto the pin that's sticking out of that plastic plate. So I first hook it onto the body of the carburetor and then onto the pin from the plate. And it needs a little persuading with the screwdriver. So now you can see I have gotten that hooked up on that pin. So that spring's working. I'm gonna put these back on. So now we need to put these two back in. Okay, so these are turned all the way in, so we're going to back this one out 1.5 turns, right? So there's a half, there's one, there's a half, and we're going to back this one out 1 full turn. There's a half, and there's one. So we should be pretty close to at least a good starting point. Because there was sawdust in the carburetor, I'm assuming that came from the fuel tank. So there probably at some point in time some sawdust and dirt had fallen into the fuel tank and it got sucked up through the fuel line and into the that metal screen in the carburetor. So I wanted to make sure that I cleaned out the fuel tank well. So there was some fuel in it. So I switched that around and I poured it out and I strained it, and then I poured it back in and I switched it around and I poured it out and strained it again. And as you can see, you know, there was quite a bit of debris that came out. So that should be cleared out now, and we shouldn't get the problem with the debris in the carburetor. This should also have a fuel filter on the fuel line inside the tank. So I'll have to try and look that up and see what it's supposed to have. So let's get the carburetor back in.
Okay, I'm going to begin by inserting the carburetor back into the chainsaw and tightening down the 2 screws that hold the carburetor to the manifold. Next, I connect the fuel line from the gas tank to the carburetor, and then the vacuum hose that connects to the top of the carburetor. Now I'm reconnecting the choke lever linkage. And now the throttle linkage.
Okay, that went in a lot easier than I was expecting it to.
Alright, let's remove the cover so we can take a look at the bar and the chain. That black guard is attached to the cover, so that has to come off as well.
Bar does feel a little bit of worn. There's a little bit of a burl here. So it's a little bit worn on this side, which is actually the upside. So somebody must have flipped this over at some point. And then there's a screw, and that causes this pin to move forwards and backwards. Yeah.
Moving that pin causes the bar to move, which adjusts the tension on the chain.
So there's a bit of a sharp, they call it a knife edge, but a burr on the edge of the rail here. So I'm just going to run a file over that to kind of smooth off the edge. And I also want to clean out the groove, particularly down here, because these 2 holes are where the oil goes in. So you want to make sure that it's clear so that the oil can get to the chain. You just want to make sure that the oil can get from this hole out to the chain on both sides. There, you can see that one goes through. Yeah, and that goes through. While we have the bar off, Let's take a look and see if we can tighten this up. Alright, and then that just lifts out. So let's see if we can wind this up a little bit. I'm going to take the screw out. And let's just see what happens. Alright, let's just cut that little bit off. Never to be seen again.
So I was able to turn the spool counterclockwise a little bit until it fell in and hooked onto the spring, and then feed the rope back through and out to the handle so that there's tension on it.
Alright, let's tie a knot in the end.
Inside here.
Let's begin. That seems better. Alright, let's get it back together. Okay, so we rebuilt and reinstalled the carburetor. We tightened up the pull start and we cleaned out the gas tank. So let's take it out, see if it'll start, and make sure that the oil pump is working. All right, I put some fresh gas in it, and we're just gonna turn the choke on. And let's see. Might help if I turn it on. Choke off. Well, I see oil coming out here. But not here, where it's supposed to be. Okay, so the good news is that it runs. The bad news is the bar and chain oil is coming out of the case instead of going to the bar and chain. But I think I'm going to wrap this video up here and work on this for next time. So thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Take care.